Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
There's a part of us that many times we don't talk about it, we don't realize it, but it's actually going on within our lives. And that is the competitive part of us, whether you realize it or not. If you're comparing yourself to somebody else, even basically scrolling through social media, oh, look what they got going on. A little bit of competition there on a low level. We are going to talk about competition, the good, the bad, maybe the ugly. She is just a fantastic psychotherapist that has so much insight on stuff that pilots us on a daily basis and helps us make transformation and figure us out, or help us figure ourselves out. Susie Engel is back with us. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Steve?
Really good. Really good. And intrigued to jump into this topic about competition. Basically speaking here, is competition good?
Well, I mean, I'm always saying we don't have to be binary about things. We don't have to say this is good, this is bad. But I think it's a natural part of our system. If you think about the survival system, competition is probably embedded in that. But so it's not good or bad, but it's like part of our survival system, which is part of that regulation or dysregulation, which makes our fight, flight, or freeze turn on. And then we also have the system of our blueprint for life. Our DNA tells us we are born with a blueprint to thrive, and maybe constant improvement and being a high achiever is also part of competition and growing and personal growth. So I think it's all intermingled, and it's not good or bad. But I mean, if I had to say anything, I think it's healthy.
Well,
And I don't think social media, I don't think social media is about competition. I think social media is about comparing ourselves with insecurity. So that's a different animal.
I agree with you. And comparison is definitely the word for social media. We compare ourselves. But I feel there's a little piece of competitiveness in there, depending on what you're doing with that comparison. And if I were to say, and I know you want to be non-binary and commit, to one good or a bad, but would that be the same for if I inserted, like I said, is competition good? If I changed the word competition and made that ego, is having an ego good or a healthy ego? Would you say the same thing where you don't want to say good or bad? Would it be different?
Yeah, I would say the same thing.
Okay.
Well, first of all, why don't we substitute, instead of good or bad, why don't we say, is it healthy? Is it adaptive? Is it maladaptive? And there's probably examples of everything that might be unhealthy or healthy. Ego is healthy. It's a part of our neuro system's structure.
Sure.
And so ego is part of our structure. Ego is part of defense. Ego is part of is a natural aspect, and there are many parts of ego states and ego parts that are aspects of ourselves. So it's pretty important stuff. And it develops for a reason. Ego develops for a reason. But if it's going to tilt toward unhealthy, then we're talking about narcissism and somebody who's egocentric or self-centered. And that's not about competition. Competition is about, can I improve, for example, playing sports, have a positive attitude without criticizing myself, and continue to enjoy the experience. And so where does the divide happen between competition being adaptive or maladaptive? And for me, it would be taking the joy out of something.
Well, I feel that the ego does protect us. There's there's a safety evolution. It's part of the protection, just like we always want to feel safe. Our intuition, it's there to help and protect us. Whereby competition, Not really so much. It's not there, to, it's not, I don't feel it's protecting us. It's just a thing that comes along with us.
Well, if it's survival of the fittest, competition is pretty important, right? If it's I want to improve at tennis, and how am I going to do that? Because I enjoy it, or because I'm driven to grow in the sport because I enjoy it. Competition takes on different aspects. I think like the easy way to look at this is the person who develops a love for a sport and then it turns to
Hmm.
anger toward the sport or anger with themselves. And that's maladaptive.
Hmm.
I don't, yeah.
You bring up another view of this where you could be in a good place, but then other things present from the competitiveness within you. So I guess it could be the same thing with an ego. Ego is normal. Having a healthy ego, that's good. If you have an inflated ego, that could get in the way. So too much of something is not a good thing.
Well, and also, well, the other part about ego is it's a neurological part of our structure, of our neurosystem structure. And there are many aspects to, uh, there are many aspects or versions of ego. And, our ego doesn't function in one way. It's not one ego. There are multiple aspects of ego. So
Hmm.
when I'm relating to a loved one, my ego might kick in one way or another, or an aspect of my ego is a defense mechanism. Ego is, and there are multiple defenses on our defense team that says, you know what, Susie? Zip yourself up. You're ready to go for the day. Nobody's going to know what happened this morning. Nobody's going to know if you were 5 minutes late to your first appointment, or you were rushing out the house, or you were organized or and put together. Egos, all these different aspects of our defenses are part of ego states. So competition is also probably tied into that, but it's not called ego if I want to improve or do well in a sport or with an instrument or with podcasts or in my profession.
So I
That's not ego necessarily.
no, I don't see it that way. Although I'm sure there are people that like doing certain things like podcasts because they do have an ego. We all have an ego, but maybe an elevated because it makes them feel good, whatever it may be. Or it could be infused with some competition. Maybe their counterpart, maybe a competitor of theirs is
Yeah.
doing podcasts and now they want to do them. So there could be some competition involved there. I'm going hypothetical here, just picking things, based on what we're
Yeah.
talking about here.
Well, I think it's kind of funny. I was talking to my family, this is a few years ago, and one of my brothers and sister-in-law were visiting my mother, my son, me, and a couple of other family members. And we were talking, and my brother, we were talking about something. I don't know, maybe we were watching a sports event or eating dinner or something. I don't know what it was, but the conversation came up. And my brother, I have three brothers, my middle brother, he was just like, you are the most competitive person I know. Because I must have said something like, I'm not competitive. And he just jumped in. And then I started observing myself in my life on all the areas that I am competitive
Wow.
in. And where does it, like, is it about my ego? No. Is it about wanting to better myself? Yes. Is it when I play tennis at a clinic on Saturdays, it's co-ed, and there's some men I practice against who I really want to be put against. So I improve because I play better when I'm trying to learn how to navigate their strengths and their abilities. They're way better tennis players than I am. But and I feel competitive, like I want to play against them, which is funny.
So
Ah,
I want to just remembered something I want to share. So I did a strength assessment test 2 years ago, and I'm trying to Clifford Strengths, I believe it is, and it's 34 strengths it identifies based on you answering questions. Takes maybe a half hour. You answer them rapid fire, don't overthink them, and it gives back your strengths. So number one strength was communication. All right, yeah, all right, I get it, accurate. Number two, kind of a surprise for me. I thought it'd be like 10, 15 out of the 34 was empathy. But I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. Blessing and a
yeah,
curse at the same time. But here's the thing, Susie, and this was concerning. Low on the list, probably, I'm trying to remember here, number 29 out of 34 strengths was competitiveness or competition.
yeah.
So it alarms me a little bit to think that I'm not really competitive.
Oh, so this is really interesting. And you may have more to say about this, but I want to jump in.
No, that's
And
it.
because now instead of talking about ego, because I mean, I understand that that could be a whole nother discussion. If if you're rated low on competitiveness, that could speak to a lot of things, like maybe your self-worth is so healthy that you're content with yourself and you're not competitive. Maybe self-worth, and not you personally. I'm just using this as an example, not you personally, Steve. It could be anybody. Or we could look at it and say, well, if this person is totally non-competitive, does that speak to lower self-esteem or lower self-worth? And maybe so, maybe not. I don't know. But this is why talking about these types of topics are so fascinating, because I don't really know. But I do know that if I'm going to go play in the backyard uh, croquet or badminton, I really want to win. And I like teasing everybody about it. I like trash talking about it. I like
Hmm.
just wanting to win, and I'm very open about it, which is probably why my brother said I'm the most competitive. If I play cards with people, I start joking around and say, trash talking and trying to get all the points. It's
So I
funny.
have a different view of it where back in the day I would be concerned about not performing well, doing a task, whatever it is, whatever it is, playing cards, playing tennis, whatever. I was like, oh, I'm going to look bad, or I'm like, or I'm not going to do it
Yeah,
because it's just I'm not going to win or whatever it might. Now I don't blank and care. I just go and have
that's
fun with
great.
it. But that's a new me. That's a
Well,
different aspect.
that's a more secure you, or a more individualized, more developed you. And
Agreed.
I would want that for everybody, because if you saw me at the gym, it's hysterical because I'm so uncoordinated, and yet I can play tennis. Not that I'm great at tennis, but I can play. And I do want to win at croquet, and I want to win at everything I play. I play backgammon. I want to win. I am the biggest risk taker in backgammon that you would, but I don't ever play worrying about what I look like or how people are judging me. And I think that that's where people start to not enjoy the sport. Like
Agreed.
golf. Oh, I'm ashamed. I'm in a foursome and I was terrible and they were probably judging me. It's like, well, we need to work on that because that's not going to be a sustainable way of life. This
I,
is really the nuts and bolts of our discussion. We should have started with this, like
and-
your transformation from before and after.
well, I agree, and I think it comes from when I was younger. I was chunky, got bullied
Bullied.
and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was the kid that wasn't picked for dodgeball or sports. I would be
Yeah.
just sitting on the side, like, eh. So whenever I did do something, I would, the microscope was on myself, like, oh, I can't mess this up. And then if you think
Pressure.
you're going to mess it up, what are you going to do? You're going to mess it up.
Mess it up.
Yeah.
The pressure, the stress response,
Yeah.
and also the internalization of if I'm not picked. I know that feeling. I wasn't picked for sports either
Yeah.
because I was the shortest and probably the least coordinated or whatever, but I still had fun. That's the craziness. That's the craziness
Well, that,
of my existence.
good for you. Good for you on that. That you could make fun, of it and yourself.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you look at those things, especially competition. And I wonder, even business wise, is that an issue? Do I not compete enough? But I really don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, if your biggest strength is communication, which is not surprising because somehow you adapted to build that strength in life for a reason way back when, and look at the profession you're in. But like when I signed up to do podcasts with you, because I remember there was a choice of other podcast hosts, and I said, "Oh no, I would like to do them with Steve." And I remember telling, I think it was like Stephanie or Ashley or somebody, I remember saying, "And I want to be Steve's favorite podcast person." And it's like, oh, I never even thought I was competitive. So
Wow.
maybe I want to be everybody's favorite. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'll have to.
But you know what? It is like when we get together, in a weird way, it's just a couple of friends talking about something.
Yeah.
That's, it's not
mean,
like we're on a
you're-
podcast.
Yeah, no, it's very organic, and
Mhm.
I never feel like I didn't know how I was going to be. You know how you don't know how you're going to be,
Sure.
like if there's a certain death in the family or this or that. I didn't know how I was going to be with a podcast, and I think I'm quite humorous if people were to rate it because I'm not like a communications major, and I have a funny perspective with my camera, and I'm not of the right generation, and I interrupt.
But you know what you know what it is? You're real. That's the difference. You present as somebody who is, very this is you. This is it.
Yeah.
Transparent. There's no hiding anything. So I can see why people gravitate toward you for help, mental help, because you're just kind of a regular person. But
And why I would believe competition is fun. Because it's got nothing to do with external approval
fair enough.
for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, competition is fun, but you don't care if you win the game. Or do you? It's fun to compete.
I care, but I'm not going to carry some sort of self-criticism if I lose a game. I mean, I don't like the way it feels not to win, but I also wouldn't ascribe that to my personal opinion of myself. I want to win. I like to win.
Sure. Well, I mean, it feels good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I know that we both play tennis, you like 10 times more than I do. And when I play tennis, it's with my daughter, but I like to win for fun. It's not a big deal, only because she's half my age. So like when I do,
That's like me
and
against the men.
and it's a running joke, like when I'm behind and then I catch up. And we've called it this since we were, since she was much younger, I was as well. It's the comeback of the century, when you come back from like, a big deficit, it's like, oh, yeah, I pulled that one off. But it's fun. It's fun to win, in that capacity.
And even in match play, I remember losing a first set with a partner. I play doubles usually. And then the second set, we won in a tie break. So it was like neck and neck all the way to the tie break. And then we timed out because we couldn't play a third set. But because of that, it was a tie. But that felt really, really great. I didn't feel like that was a loss or we shouldn't have tied. I felt really great that we won the second set in a tie break. I mean, it was like neck and neck. Like, I like that competition.
So, you know what? That's when that presents, that is exciting. That is
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how could that not feel good coming from,
A loss of a
Right.
whole set.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess,
So-
to encapsulate, competition is good.
If we have to say good or bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. You know where I'm stuck? I'm going to tell you, this is where I'm stuck on it. Hold on.
Where-
It's ridiculous, but where I live, there's a couple of, I'll call it a chain of automotive dealerships, Mercedes and other ones, and it's
Yeah.
Competition Auto Group, and their slogan is competition is good. So basically, they're saying we're good. It could be the ABC, the Acme Auto Group. Acme is good, but to say competition is good, so it's stuck in my head.
That's really funny. That
It's
is
true.
funny. But people do think about things like good or bad. And I just feel like if I can be a spokesperson about that, I will be always questioning why we don't
Well,
have to.
It
Yeah.
does put pressure. It does put pressure on us to say that it's good or bad, and it just ride the fence. It's what you
It
want it
is.
to be at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting conversation today. As always, I always say I don't know where we're going with this, but one day we're going to play tennis. I'm telling you, it's going to happen one day. And
It'll be fun.
I know you're gonna whoop my butt. There's not even thought. What's your website, Susie?
We can rally. My website, Susan Engel LCSW.com.
You are available for this and so much more. Even walking that journey of healing ourselves mentally. We all got stuff
that's
going
huge.
on there. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you. Thank you for today. Fun
Thank
conversation.
you.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.